some political analysis for us as we have the results projected at first and second place on the Republican side and also on the Democratic side, the winner there. So where do they all go from here? Let's go to our Mike Nikitas and our analysts.
The road ahead, Christy and Brian, is a winding one. We're going to take you over the next month to month and a half and show you where this campaign goes from here. First place it goes, along with Jesse Mermel and Scott Simone, is 2 states in the rest of this month, February 20th, Nevada. And these states are both a little bit strange in that the Republicans and Democrats hold their primaries on different days. Nevada on the 20th of February and the 23rd, and South Carolina, as we know, on the 20th and then the 27th. So let's start with the Democrats. What does this mean for Bernie Sanders? Are either of these places states where you expect him to do well? And what does he have to do?
I think he has to start talking to people of color, and you saw him start to do that a bit in his very long, slightly winding speech earlier this evening. But these are diverse states, which we haven't seen in Iowa and in New Hampshire, which are very, very majority white. He's going to have to expand his message and dig into territory, both in terms of demographics and states where Hillary Clinton has historically been quite strong. It'll be a challenge for him, but he's clearly a strong candidate.
And a large African-American population, much larger in South Carolina than in New England, and a large percentage-wise Hispanic population in Nevada. So 2 states where 2 different groups that, as you say, he's got to connect with better. All right, Republican side now. We know at this point we've got Trump winning, Kasich in second. It was Cruz and Bush kind of neck and neck. Rubio and Christie kind of disappointing. You saw his somber tone. We're told he is going home now to New Jersey, he said, to think things over. But as far as the top guys, particularly John Kasich, what has to happen here as we go on the next steps on the road ahead?
South Carolina and Nevada will be a good bellwether for John Kasich going forward. If he doesn't perform well, he can virtually, call it a day. Trump and Cruz, and you heard Ted Cruz allude to it in his speech earlier, kind of went after the front runner, talking about making deals, and we don't need a deal maker in Washington. That's a direct attack on Donald Trump. So you can expect those two to go after each other coming up on the debate Saturday night. And just on the Democrat side, you're going to have 2 full weeks of campaigning in South Carolina. The supposed Clinton firewall of the South, that's going to be another bellwether where you're really going to be able to see if Hillary Clinton does have this firewall that will prevent Bernie Sanders from coming on strong.
There's no question it'll be a big test for her.
Big test for her, and as you mentioned, the debate on Saturday, and there's another debate on Thursday night as well.
Thursday night, less than 48 hours from now, the Democrats will be at it debating in Wisconsin, and it's going to be incredibly interesting to see how those 2 candidates and their campaigns approach that night after the new dynamic from this evening. Is Bernie Sanders speaking beyond the issue of just Wall Street? Is Hillary Clinton going on the attack more after a loss tonight that I think was a wider margin than she and her campaign would have liked? It's going to be a fascinating night, and we have one night to get some sleep and then stay up and watch
that debate. And the interesting thing is we continue the road ahead and go to Super Tuesday, March 1st, where there are a bunch of states, and you can see them all here. 2 New England states, Massachusetts and Vermont. Wisconsin, where this debate will be, is not one of these states, but still people will be watching. So what is important here and significant, particularly when we see 2 New England states? For once, Massachusetts may make a difference, Jesse.
Yeah, I mean, for all of us who are political nerds, it's kind of exciting. We're used to Massachusetts not mattering a lot. But Massachusetts, where I think a lot of campaign and institutional support has just been flexing their muscles, heading up to New Hampshire, working for various candidates, isn't going to get a lot of rest. It's going to have to go back to work in a way that we aren't that used to. It's also going to be an interesting test of the political strength of some of our own players, whether or not their endorsements make a difference.
And as far as the other name for this, the SEC primary, Ted Cruz finished 3rd in New Hampshire. We think he's got to do well in a lot of these states.
He's got to do well, and he will do well. Look, this is going to come down to a race between Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, and the non-Trump Cruz candidate, and that 3rd slot, so to speak. Look, Massachusetts is going to matter. They're kind of in the middle of the delegate pack. You've got Texas and Georgia and Tennessee at the top of that. You're going to see a lot of campaigning between now and March 1st in those states because there's so many delegates in there. Texas being Ted Cruz's home state, that is huge. He's going to need a big win there, and I think he can pull one out. Georgia as well. That would be interesting if that's more Donald Trump country or if that's Ted Cruz. But also, it's neighboring to Florida, where you have Marco Rubio.
All right, I want to ask you about Marco Rubio, because you are a Marco Rubio supporter. So is he going to make it to March 1st? I mean, we have 2 other primaries to go. You think he's still
he's got a lot of money.
Running 5th tonight?
He's running 5th, about 1,000 votes between him and Jeb Bush, who's running 4th. I think the bigger story is Jeb Bush, who got knocked off in the coverage with Donald Trump coming on.
Which seemed like a calculated move, I would say,
Yeah,
on
at
Donald
one
Trump's
point,
part.
right. At one point in the night, Jeb Bush was in third place, and then Ted Cruz overtook him, and it looks like he's going to keep that lead and stick to third with Bush in fourth. Rubio will go far in this. He's got enough money, he's got enough infrastructure, but if he can take on Bush, Kasich in kind of that non-Trump Cruz lane, that remains to be seen. But I think Saturday night, the debate for the Republicans is going to be a big night. If Chris Christie gave any indication, he's probably going to drop out very soon. And after the last debate performance, if Chris Christie's not on that stage, that's a game changer for anybody for that whole dynamic.
And we'll see about Carly Fiorina, Ben Carson. Let's take one more step down the road to March the 15th with 5 very key states, particularly Florida and Illinois. Florida, of course, is a place where we're talking about Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio has to do well his home state, and then Jeb Bush as well.
Right. I mean, this is going to be for all the marbles for those folks, because after March on April 1st, the rest of the remaining states for the Republicans are winner take all. It's all proportional delegates up until that point.
And could this be a good time for John Kasich if he makes it this far?
Yeah, if he makes it that far, he's got Ohio, but that remains to be seen. The Super Tuesday will be a big decision maker for John Kasich, but Florida is up for grabs for Jeb Bush or Marco Rubio. If Jeb Bush doesn't perform well, or if he performs well on Super Tuesday and he wants to stick around till the Florida primary, he's got enough money to do it, but will he have enough momentum? That remains to be seen.
And Jesse, handicap this now for us as far as the Democrats go. I see Illinois, a state where perhaps Hillary Clinton might do well. Also Ohio, a state where she perhaps might do well. This would seem to be a good day for Hillary Clinton.
At this point, I think that we would be optimistic that it would be a good day for Hillary Clinton. You think about Illinois, where she obviously has family roots, Ohio, Florida, areas where there are real working class communities, areas that we know have been strong for Hillary Clinton, and also, Missouri, North Carolina, Florida, Illinois, places where, not to beat a dead horse, but there's a lot more diversity than what we've seen in Iowa and in New Hampshire, where Bernie Sanders has done so well. So I think the Clinton campaign needs to get here with momentum on the upswing, but if they do that, this should be a happy day for them.
Jesse and Jeff, thanks a lot. So there is still a long road ahead, Christy and Brian, and we have just begun.
All right, Mike, thank you for that analysis.
Yeah, really quickly, we didn't get a chance to take Marco Rubio's speech.